Are you absolutely stunned by the audacity of a player seemingly thriving, yet already eyeing the exit door? Or are you filled with cynical, almost sarcastic amusement at the relentless, cutthroat nature of the NHL salary cap, where even a hot start can't guarantee a future? Because right now, in the heart of Colorado, a storm is brewing around star winger Martin Necas, and the whispers aren't just getting louder, they're turning into a full-blown roar, linking him to some of the league's biggest markets. This isn't just about a contract. It's about ambition, financial reality, and the brutal calculus of building a Stanley Cup contender. Let's dive straight into the action, folks. Martin Necas, the highly touted centerpiece acquired in the Mikko Rantanen trade, just kicked off his first full season as a member of the Colorado Avalanche with an absolute bang. On Tuesday night, against the LA Kings, Necas wasn't just good. He was electric, burying 2 goals in the AVS dominant 4-1 victory. He looked like a man possessed, clicking seamlessly with superstars Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar, displaying an increased chemistry that's been building since day one. You saw the speed, the skill, the offensive instincts, everything you'd want from a top-tier winger. From an on-ice perspective, it seemed like everything was going perfectly for Necas in Colorado. The AVS looked formidable, and he was a key part of that early success. But here's where the narrative takes a sharp, almost jarring turn. Beneath the surface of those highlight reel goals, there are growing concerns, deep-seated anxieties about the pending restricted free agent's future with the team. It's a classic NHL paradox. A player performs brilliantly, and suddenly, his future becomes more uncertain, not less. On Thursday, James Murphy of RG Media, a man with his ear firmly to the ground, added some serious fuel to the simmering fire, sharing information he received from a highly placed source on the Necas situation. And what that source revealed, my friends, is nothing short of a bombshell. According to Murphy's source, the idea of Necas finishing the season in Colorado, let alone signing a long-term extension, is becoming increasingly far-fetched. The insider didn't mince words, stating emphatically, "I'd be stunned if he even finishes a season with the Avalanche, let alone extends in Colorado. I don't see how the Avalanche make it happen with Necas." Now, that's a statement that should send shivers down the spines of Avalanche faithful. To hear that a player just weeks into a new season is already being pegged for a potential departure before the trade deadline speaks volumes about the underlying tensions. And if he does become available, which the source firmly believes will happen, then get ready for a bidding war involving some of the league's biggest spenders and most desperate contenders. The source specifically linked 2 primary suitors, 2 Original Six franchises with deep pockets and a hunger for immediate impact: the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New York Rangers. I'll tell you one thing. When it comes to trading for him, at least as a rental, I'd be watching the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New York Rangers, the source added, with a caveat for the Rangers: if, as I expect, the Rangers will be back in the playoff hunt. This isn't just speculation. It's a clear indication of where the league's power brokers believe Necas could land. The idea of him as a rental is key here, suggesting teams might be willing to pay a premium for a short-term boost, rather than committing to a long-term, high-dollar deal. But wait, there's a dark horse in this race, a team that could swoop in with an offer too good to refuse: the Anaheim Ducks. The source also mentioned to watch out for the Anaheim Ducks. And for good reason. They possess something many contenders don't: ample cap space and a treasure trove of prospects that could form an incredibly enticing trade package. While perhaps not a traditional contender in the immediate sense, the Ducks could offer Necas a significant role and the financial security he desires, all while giving the Avalanche the future assets they might need. It's a fascinating twist in an already complex saga. So, what's driving this potential divorce? It all boils down to one thing, folks: money. Martin Necas, at 26 years old, is currently in the final season of the 2-year, $13 million contract extension he originally signed with the Carolina Hurricanes back in 2024. He's played well, he's shown flashes of brilliance, and he's entering his prime. And in today's NHL, with the salary cap steadily climbing, that translates to one thing: a demand for big money. The Colorado Avalanche would, without a shadow of a doubt, prefer to keep Martin Necas. He's a dynamic player, a nice piece with plenty of skill, and he fits their fast-paced system. But if his asking price becomes too high, then general manager Chris MacFarland will be forced to make an incredibly difficult, almost agonizing decision. The word on the street, the whispers from agents and capologists, suggests that Necas could be looking for an average annual salary of $10 million or more on his new deal. Let that sink in for a moment. $10 million per season. And for the Avalanche, that's simply too much to stomach. It's not about whether he's a good player. It's about the brutal reality of cap management. This team already has Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, and Mikko Rantanen eating up significant portions of their cap. And speaking of Makar, he's going to need a new contract in just a year's time, and you can bet he'll be commanding top dollar, likely north of $10 million himself. The math simply doesn't add up. Committing $10+ million to Necas would create an unsustainable financial structure, handcuffing the team's ability to fill out the rest of their roster with quality depth players. It's a classic case of a player's perceived value clashing with a team's financial limitations. This whole situation, the potential overpayment for Necas, brings us to a fascinating, almost painful point of reflection for the Avalanche organization. It makes you wonder, with a touch of melancholy, how much they might regret not signing Mikko Rantanen to an 8-year, $96 million extension, a deal that would have been worth $12 million per season. Rantanen, a bona fide superstar, a consistent point-per-game player, a true cornerstone of the franchise, is arguably one of the most underpaid elite wingers in the league right now. The difference between Rantanen's proven, consistent, elite production and Necas' potential, however promising, is far more significant than what their contract will ultimately say. If Necas truly commands $10+ million, while Rantanen is still playing on a deal that, in hindsight, looks like an absolute steal for the AVS, it highlights a critical misstep in long-term planning. It's a stark reminder that sometimes you pay for what you know you have, rather than gambling on what you hope a player will become. The Avalanche are now facing the consequences of that delicate balance, caught between rewarding a developing talent and maintaining the financial flexibility needed to keep their championship window wide open. This isn't just about Necas. It's about the broader philosophy of managing a modern NHL dynasty. So, what's your take on this high-stakes drama, hockey fans? Is Martin Necas truly worth $10 million a year, or is he pricing himself out of Colorado? Which team do you think is the best fit for him if he does hit the trade market? Let us know your thoughts, your predictions, and your passionate opinions in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the NHL's latest cap conundrum, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive news and unfiltered analysis. We want to hear from you.